When I met Paul, he was like no other guy that I had ever met. He came in and he swept me off my feet, really.
I met Elizabeth at work and was just felt right from the beginning that she was my soulmate. This is who I wanted to spend my life with.
We got married, got pregnant, looked for a house, moved in, and it was all sweet. It was really good.
We have a boy, we have a girl, and everything is just fine.
When the kids were little, Paul started getting involved with leadership in the church.
They asked me to be the director of children and family ministry. Took that position, was there for 4 or 5 years, and at that time they asked me to take the role of the director of youth ministry. I loved it. It made me want to pursue a career in ministry.
Back before Paul was officially on staff, the kids group, we ran together. And then all of a sudden it was like, no, I have to do it all. I don't need you anymore. I felt like he was ignoring my gifts. I was very resentful. And so, that little seed, that feeling like you're not needed in that one area, it just spreads. And unfortunately, one of the areas that it spread to was our bedroom.
It looked as if we were just roommates living under the same roof. The intimacy stopped. And so between the two of us, that was a big disconnect. And that went on for years.
If you saw us at church, it would have been, oh, look, the nice, lovely family. Look at their kids. Oh, they're always here. They're so supportive. Where would we be without them? If you were inside the walls of our house, it would have been like, who are these people?
Working with the church, I felt that I was doing God's work, but I wasn't growing in my relationship with God. When I didn't have the courage to talk to Elizabeth about what I was feeling inside and what I needed, I had a friend who I've known for 17 plus years who it was just easy to confide in her. The texts, got more serious, more often, and I would look at my phone, like if it wasn't going off. I was expecting the text. Once it started, it was something that I couldn't stop. It just kept spiraling deeper and deeper and deeper, and had an affair that nobody knew about. And yet every Sunday morning, I'm up in front of the church, and nobody knows what's going on inside of me.
There were so many times over that period of time where I felt like something was nudging me to, oh, you need to talk about this, or you should do that. And I never did it. And I'll regret that a lot. I knew something was going. I knew he was wrestling with something, and I was too afraid to ask. Are you having an affair? Yeah. Did you have sex with her? Yes, I did. And he said, this is over. I don't love you. I can't be here anymore. My life and my future is with her. And then the next thing I know, I'm getting divorce papers in the mail.
Rapidly, all in a week's time, I left my wife. I was no longer at the church. The pastor asked for that I'd have my resignation on his desk. My car was about the only thing I guess I was hanging on to. And I take my car to car shows. I have a 2004 Mustang GT convertible, and I went to the LCBC motorsports show, and I took a tour of the campus, and it was a church that I was like, wow. I woke up on a Sunday morning, and I don't have a children's sermon to do. I don't have any part of a service to do. I thought, I'm going to go to LCBC. After standing in front of a church for 7, 8 years, I wanted to sit in the back of the church. Pulled into the parking lot, and the hardest thing to do was open up the door. I had just felt like everything just completely crashed. That what was there to live for? I had wrecked my marriage. I had wrecked the relationship with my kids, at the church, everything. I was like, what do I have to live for?
The amazing thing to me was that in the midst of all this pain, I felt like every time I turned around, God was showing me that He was there.
I turned my back on God. He didn't turn His back on me. When I turned around, He was there to welcome me and say, here I am. I got you. I love you. For the first time in a long time, I was on a path with God.
Being in such a broken and shattered place, honestly, it was easier to hear some of the things that God was trying to tell me.
And I was sitting at LCBC, and the message was about love, about love. And the whole time through that message, I thought the person that I love the most is not sitting next to me. And the next day I talked to Elizabeth and said, what do you think? Let's reconcile. Instead of signing these divorce papers, let's make this work.
One of the things I told him was that, I was at a place where I knew that I would be okay, but I knew that we're better together than we are apart. And one of the things he said is, how can you forgive me? How can you forgive me for this? And my answer was, how can I not?
So when Elizabeth and I decided to get back together, our condition was that we're not just going to try. We have to give this our 100% commitment that we're all in.
It's a pretty incredible feeling to feel like, God is looking down on you, especially when you haven't felt particularly close to God in a really long time.
When I thought that there was no hope, there was a miracle. That God had been working in both of us. We've been back together for 2 years, and probably our marriage is stronger now than it was the day we got married.
We're more consistent. We're more authentic.
We're moving. 3 weeks ago, I had no plan to move, and it has just been one blessing after another.
And we're excited about, taking this next step and moving to this new place and making it ours.
God loves us no matter what. It is just remarkable.